Good evening. How are you guys all
Hello.
doing?
Hello, everyone.
Hello, indeed. I feel a little bit close, you guys, but that's okay. I want to say hello to everybody, as well as a special happy birthday to somebody here
Thank you.
on that side, right there.
Here I
Say
am.
how, say hi and happy birthday to Deana.
I'm old now. Yay.
Old now.
It's
I'm older than you. What does that mean? What are you saying to me?
okay. We're all old.
All right, I'm okay with that. I don't think this is the mode we're supposed to be in, is it? There
Huh?
we go. I believe I need to change the screen setup. That should be good. Just right now, I'm trying to send out a message to everybody here that we are live.
I am also sending out a very big tweet. That is very important. Hold on.
So while we're getting a
Make,
couple of things ready and set up
my
here,
screen smaller if you don't mind.
it is smaller.
There's okay. Is that the smallest I can go?
Well, I mean, I can go back to this if you'd like.
Yeah, that's better for now. Just for
Okay,
now. It's because I got somebody in the kitchen. I don't think he wants to be on camera.
fair enough. But so you've got your tweet page setting up, but you have, as we understand, there's a bit of an issue with your Twitter right now. Just to let people
Yeah,
know.
they suspended me for an inauthentic account. So I've appealed it. That's my big Twitter. But I want you guys to go on at Deana Sharif on Twitter. I'm putting out a very important tweet. And in fact, I'm going to actually send it to you, Joe, and we're going to display it later on. It's very important. I'm trying to think of the politicians I need to be tagging here.
Actually, all of
McGinty.
them.
What's McGinty's first name again? Why am I David McGinty? Why am I forgetting
David.
his?
If you tag Dalton, he's not going to care.
Fuck that guy. Fuck all
It's
of them.
got been out of the game for a while, at least from what I hear.
Yes, or NACB.
All right. But yeah, we'll take a look at that in a minute. Because we got a fair amount of things to go through. So while we look into that, I will start off with the first thing coming up tonight is Mr. Jeff Everly. Wow. So no love, or at least clearly we are quite familiar with Jeff Everly. But yeah, let's take a look and see how he's been doing. So, Court of Appeal dismisses veterans' charter challenge to arrest at the National War Memorial. Apparently, Mr. Everly had put in a charter challenge in regards to it. According to the statement here, the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, JCCF, announces that the Ontario Court of Appeal has dismissed the appeal of retired Canadian Forces veteran, Master Warrant Officer, retired Jeffrey Everly, who was convicted of mischief and obstruction after attempting to stand guard at the National War Memorial during the peaceful Freedom Convoy protests in February 2022. Now, the original charges that Jeff Everly had, which I did a little research to bring it up, according to the press release from the JCCF, trial for the CEF veteran Jeff Everly continues Tuesday. Everly was charged with mischief and obstructing a police officer. He was arrested while on his way to the guard the Ottawa Memorial during the Freedom Convoy 2022. I believe this is during the clearance, the time during the clearance. His original sentencing was Jeff was given a 1-year probation, ordered not to protest in Ottawa, and sentenced to 50 hours in community sentence. That was his original sentencing. I don't know. Thoughts, Deana?
Womp womp. I mean, I don't know. What can we say other than I don't know.
It's pretty final for him in regards to that particular case. I mean, there's nothing else he can do in regards to appeal. He can try to go to the higher courts, but more likely
he can go to higher court.
Now, there is no statement in regards to if they're going to try to appeal to a higher court. I got the feeling they may not go that far. but I'm going to be honest here. Jeff's not really done in regards to his legal issues because you may not be quite as familiar with this one, Dana, but
As
he's now also
no, I
challenging
remember
the.
that one. That
You
happened.
did?
Yeah.
So, charge challenge to Nova Scotia's woods ban set next year. So, this particular one has to do with the fact that he'll be joined by the foundation, and there will be challenging. The foundation will be joined in their challenge by Jeff Everly, a Nova Scotian who deliberately violated the ban and was fined $28,000 as a result. So this was had to do, yeah. So the Nova Scotia travel ban, which the GCCF will also be jumping onto, and they're using him quite a bit. Challenge to proceed as lawyers have filed a detailed court brief. So JCCF announced that the lawyers have filed a written brief recently in the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia on behalf of Jeff Everly and in advance of a March 17th and 19th, 2026 hearing challenging the province's 2025 woods travel ban, which is going to be next week. So
I don't think he's going to win that one either. I wonder what argument he's trying to make. Freedom of expression, freedom of movement. I have no idea.
More than likely, it's going to be freedom of movement. So these guys, they've done their appeal, and they're going to be starting to argue it. But yeah, it's while it's public property, it's still property, and when it comes to property, you can still be kicked off of property.
Yes.
I mean, is this? I have no idea how you're going to be able to fight this. I mean, this is the same thing as, hey, if I trespass you off of Parliament, are you going to try to do it's a human rights violation?
Right. Exactly.
Public park, same thing.
And what human rights? What are they basing this discrimination against? If it was a human rights claim, there has to be.
So it's going to be interesting to hear because they're going to go bring this up to the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia. But right now the brief has only been filed, so we're going to have to wait till we hear the results in regards to it. But again, I mean, like I'm going to go with a little bit of what if. Let's play a little what if. We got a bit of time here. What if they're successful? What if they're successful? Does that mean that you cannot stop a person going into a public park? Does that mean any public property that's considered a park or something public means you can never be trespassed? What does that mean about past convictions? What about past ticketing? Let's say being trespassed from Parliament. It's no longer constitutional. What does Parliament do?
Well, we know that Section 1 of the Charter says that there are limitations to your charter freedoms, and trespassing would be one of those limitations. You have to wear a seatbelt. You have to stop at a red light. You have to, there are laws that are put in place. You have to follow the law. So, I don't know. What a weird thing to spend your time on and to try to argue and to try to fight. And you must have a surplus of money to be able to do that. But anyway.
Well, at least $28,000 because you're putting that on the line. If you lose, you're going to be losing your original $28,000 plus whatever costs of the court, whether it be your legal fees.
Well, that's the other thing. He'll have to pay the court fees as well for this. So weird.
It is. So we're going to keep an eye on that one, see if there's going to be any results to it. Obviously, there's going to be the original hearing that's going to be coming up on March 17th, 19th, and see if there's going to be any more information on it as it comes up. But that means we're going to move on to the next one.
The next one.
Well, the next one also goes, and we don't have much details, but I can give you a little bit of summary because we're kind of waiting to hear some information in regards to it. And I know it's still ongoing, but it deals with Matt Alexander.
Hey.
So Matt Alexander is currently still working in regards to fighting his dismissal from the Board of Education. He was fired. And so currently he made a post recent, which was a retweet, said cultural Marxism has infiltrated the school system. DEI and LGBTQ are used to discriminate against those with traditional values. My wife and I were both fired for for refusing to celebrate LGBTQ with kids. We stood on Christian principles and discriminated against no one except the LGBTQ, which we don't consider people. Sorry, I added that one in.
Yeah.
It's time to say no more. The Alexander family can be supported at the link.
Good luck with that.
So apparently this was in reference to an additional posting that they put in where they're saying that they are continuing their fight against the union who kicked them out on Monday, on Monday, which was 2 days ago. Now, I haven't seen any updates in regards to whether from JCCF or them in regards to how that's going, but we'll keep an eye on to see what the results were in regards to this one.
Do your job properly.
Don't be a bigot.
These don't be a bigot. These people exist and they have the right to be represented in a dignified and a respectful way. You're a loser and you shouldn't be around kids. So there's that.
I can't disagree. Yeah, it's. I'm also kind of curious here if, since there's a bit of timing in regards to this. We have this as well as the BC case that we were talking about last time we were on, in regards to the school counselor that was kicked out, which, believe it or not, will actually be which actually comes up to our next order after, because I'm going to sort things. But there seems to be, while a lot of these kind of issues I saw was kind of dying down, though, I feel that they're starting to come back up a little bit, and I'm not too sure why. I figured that everybody was moving over to immigration being the target of the problem. Is this some sort of weird retro?
I don't know. I think they're still hanging on to their bigotry, and I don't know. These people will never grow. They'll never learn. I don't know. You can't force people to be good people, I guess. But you don't have to have them working in your institutions where they're going to be dealing with other people. So,
well, I think we should keep them away from kids.
100%. Keep them away from my fucking kids. That's for goddamn sure.
There we go. So, bouncing off that is exactly we get over to BC, and this is one of the particular articles that we kind of wish that we were able to jump onto, but it allowed me to get some more information on. So, Columbia MLA's bill to repeal BC Human Rights Code quickly voted down. Now, give you a little background in regards to this. This does relate to our previous story that we did last episode, where we were talking about the individual who's fined $750,000 because of the issues that they caused to LGBTQ, both, I believe, students and staff, while they were on the school board. And so they were fined by the Human Rights Tribunal based on that. Because there is an MLA from one BC, a far-right movement, decided, hey, you know what? We're going to stop. We're going to say, you know what? We're just going to try to solve the problem. They went in there and decided to put in a bill to just end the entire Human Rights Tribunal in BC. Because that's how we go. That's what we do.
We don't like what they have to say, so we're just going to get rid of them altogether.
So, Armstrong, independent MLA for Kelowna Lake Country Coldstream, tabled the Human Rights Code Repeal Act Thursday in the legislation. The purpose of this bill is to end the assault on freedom of speech, something we don't have, by our Human Rights Tribunal.
We do.
Yeah, it's part of freedom. But it's part
It
of
is.
freedom
It's
of
part of
expression.
freedom of expression. We do have
Yeah,
freedom of speech. It's not, it's standalone, but it's part of our freedom of expression. We have freedom of speech.
exactly. Fair, and that's true. The purpose of the bill is to end the assault on the freedom of speech by our human rights tribunals, she said. Armstrong's bill is motivated by a recent $750,000 fine issued by the BC Human Rights Tribunal against former Chilliwack School Board trustee Barry Neufeld over his comments about LGBTQ people. Armstrong on Thursday said the repeal of the BC Human Rights Code is the only solution to this assault on our rights. This bill will protect the freedom of speech of Canadians. It will abolish the Human Rights Tribunal, a kangaroo court, and repeal the Human Rights Code that left is using to punish and profit from anyone who doesn't adopt their views. Punish and profit? All right. Now, this is the part that I thought was interesting. Like several bills proposed by Armstrong so far, it was dead on arrival in legislation and was voted down at the first reading with 50 votes opposed and 37 in favor. The BC Conservative Caucus voted in support. Because,
Well,
yeah,
the thing is even if the Human Rights Commission wasn't there, then they would have done a civil suit and they would have won a civil suit. It is not just the Human Rights Commission that is protecting this protected group because they're part
yeah,
of our human rights code. Not having the Human Rights Tribunal was to take this sort of out of the court system, but then the court system would take it on. And you would lose in criminal court for this type of speech. And then you would also lose in civil court. So getting rid of the Human Rights Tribunal is not going to give you more room to be a bigot. And this is their stupidity. Like it's actual stupidity that um, is coming out of their mouths. It's I don't know what to say, but I do know that in court, in civil court and criminal court, it's already established that you can't um, discriminate against people. So human rights tribunal, no human rights tribunal, it doesn't matter. This is just a way to offload these types of complaints into a different stream. That's it. You want to clog up the courts with this stuff, then by all means.
So one of the things that concerns me a little bit about this is I feel particularly like while they mark them as an independent, this is the one BC party. This is like these are as far away as you can. They align with PPC or the Ontario Party, the one that was run by Derek Sloan. Like they're as far right as possible, and they know these bills are not going to pass. But I feel like they're doing this stuff to try to show that they are um, signaling. I think is the best way of saying it. They're trying to do some message signaling in regards to like, hey, look, we're doing all the key points, we're doing all the triggers. This is all the stuff you guys have been raged up about and rage baited with. If we say these keywords, you should respond. And I got the feeling a lot of this stuff might be stuff they're going to be trying to bring back during the campaign time sometime later.
Yeah, what they're trying to do is delegitimize these institutions. That's all they're trying to do. And trying to get people not to trust these institutions. But the funny thing is these people like Jeff Evely are still trying to use these sort of court systems or tribunals or whatever. So they just, I don't know. It's just a lot of noise, a lot of bullshit.
Yep. It is a lot of noise. I agree. There is one thing. So there is some pushback, and this is where I have a part two for this one, which is a lot of Pride communities have actually stood up and said something. So here's the clip.
Pride Pride groups across BC are banding together, demanding that outspoken MLA Tara Armstrong resign. They say they are deeply disturbed by her actions and appalled by misinformation about the transgender community. As CTV's St. John Alexander reports, a letter has been sent to every elected official in legislature calling for her censure.
Tara, can I ask you a quick question?
Tara Armstrong didn't say much when questioned by reporters, but confirmed she's not going anywhere.
Are you going to resign like the
Let's go. No.
From Vancouver to Prince George to Langley, 17 pride groups have signed this letter arguing Ms. Armstrong has failed to meet the basic standards of integrity, pointing first to her failed attempt to repeal the Human Rights Code.
To even think that that would have been questioned or thought to be brought into the legislature is abhorring.
The independent MLA insisted her bill was designed to protect free speech because she says people were being punished unfairly for speaking their mind.
It is a deeply disturbing bill that she brought forward to repeal our Human Rights Code. I understand why people are having a reaction to that.
Armstrong has always been outspoken, fighting for what she believes is right.
Well, obviously the NDP government supports discrimination as long as it punishes people that the far left says are evil.
Far left.
Like white people, for instance.
After the Tumbler Ridge shooting posted online a disproven theory about transgender violence.
She's a representative of her own personal opinions, and perhaps a small group that may have strong opinions based in misunderstanding and or hatred.
The letter has been sent to every MLA in the House, calling for Armstrong to be censured. They also want her resignation.
I'm not working with Tara anymore, but that doesn't mean that we don't often vote the same way in the House.
And you do not think she should resign or be censured?
No, not at all.
It's also unlikely there is a mechanism in BC to have anyone censured.
Were your social media comments, were they hateful towards the trans community?
Absolutely not. I love everybody. I'm not hateful toward anybody. I believe children need to be protected.
Armstrong was duly elected and plans to stay. Voters who don't like it have the option of recalling their MLA. St. John Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
I forgot about that. She was removed from 1BC. I have to go check what that was in regards to. But she was part of 1BC,
Yeah.
but she was no longer with it. So, I mean, they are doing the censoring, but I mean, I'm not crazy. So, I understand this is kind of one of the only moves they can do when it kind of puts a mark on the record. The thing is, censoring an MP is performative. Like, we have censored you. Okay. Now what? Do I lose any money? No. Do I lose any talking time? No. Do I lose the ability to make to propose bills? No. Does this affect me in any ways beyond just, you've officially put this in the record? Nope, that's it. She's going to take that censoring, which should be sort of some sort of shame, or as it was originally meant, and she's going to use it as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
During campaigns, during speeches, during everything else.
Yeah.
To which I'm thinking, while I get the motivation to do this, this may not really be helpful. If anything, it might help her as to, look, the woke left is coming to attack me. You need to help me. You need to vote me in. That's it. Thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know much about her riding. I don't know if she'll make it back in. She will. So her riding
More than likely she will.
Vile.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. So so she left. So originally she was with 1BC.
Yeah.
And because it was just two people, it was her and Dallas Brody. And amongst here, the departure details that I have here from a write-up, Armstrong publicly announced on December 13, 2025, she would not caucus with Brody, citing poor handling of internal challenges like staff management and amid legislative pressures.
That's because Brody fired that person.
Pretty much.
Whatever.
The rift centered on Brody's push to fire a junior staffer accused of anti-Semitic and neo-Nazi online views.
Yeah.
Example, JQ references, racial hierarchies, which Brody's allies wanted to mentor instead. 1BC's board, including Armstrong, removed Brody, but on December 21st, they resigned and transferred control back to her, leaving Armstrong as the sole member, effectively making her an independent. So Brody is running 1BC, and kind of just everybody left 1BC, some staff and whatnot. So that said, we don't know what 1BC is going to look like at the end. But the point being, the most important thing that people should definitely understand: Dallas Brody, horrible person.
Yeah, she's gross.
Darren Armstrong, horrible person. They were both in the same fucking party for a reason. And I think these guys are going to try to, to use, and Darren Armstrong is going to be trying to use all these bills and use this sanction, or sorry, censure as a badge for an attempt to reelect. She might even try to take over 1BC.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a interesting, complicated thing, because do you keep making noise about it because you're drawing more attention to the bullshit, or do you just obviously they have to speak out because it's disgusting, but she lost, right? Like, it didn't go through. So
yeah, but she knew it wasn't going to go through. Like, she knew that I mean,
how many times do these losers try to bring bills to pass that don't pass, right? Or whatever. And yeah, it's a tough one because it is extremely bigoted. It's bullshit. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I'm convinced that these guys, they know exactly what they're doing. Well, quite a few of them do. Dallas and Tara, I'm not too sure. But I'm quite convinced that these guys are coming out with the most, because again, these bills are very much like, they're very, like I said, dog whistly.
Yeah.
I think they're intentionally they know they're not going to pass, but they're doing it just to, like, see, this, I'm the one that's fine for you. And they're viewing the people to respond to them to be a large number.
And to say the far left saying some sort of nonsense about it being the far left when the majority of the people voted you down. So it's not the far left. It's the, consensus.
Yeah.
Right? Like, to try to blame it on the far left is ridiculous. No, just normal people feel this way. Armstrong's riding is very close to the Ostrich Farm. That explains a lot.
Yeah, there's so BC, while BC tends to be very much more of a leftist, when it comes to most provinces or states or anything else, you get to rural, you'll get to more traditional conservative patches. And she's pretty much locked into one of those more traditional conservative patches.
Education, less tolerance of other people.
Yeah, absolutely. And less
the fact that she's different. Like, white people.
But so this white people statement, I'll be honest, it's not the first time I've been hearing it. I've been hearing a fair amount right now. I say in the past, I'd say 6 months plus. There's been this, and it's always been there, because you and I've probably heard it a few times, but there's been sort of an increase in regards to some people talking about just racism against white people.
Yeah.
And
that exists.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those that's just absolutely bonkers.
But see, that's her opening the door to the other piece of the white supremacy. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's trying to slide that in there because she wants people to be angry at something that isn't even there. But like, this whole rise in white supremacy is happening. So she's sliding that in there as well. So,
Absolutely. It's and again, this is very Trumpian-like in regards to where our, your values are being attacked. There's racism against white people.
yeah.
And for racism to occur towards people, there has to be a structure. No structure against, I'm going to be honest here, there's no structure against white people.
The majority of that fucking legislation, that place, is white people. The fuck is she talking about?
Nope,
How many people of color did they even interview in that whole conversation?
Oh,
did you see the background? If you see the guy who's talking, he's white.
Oh yeah, if
white
you're talking about David, David Eby had a fair selection behind him, and I think he intentionally did. Like, I can bring it back up here and see if I can find David Eby here. Because his
white translator, white guy, white. Same person. White interviewer.
So this one here, David Eby, I think he made sure to have a diverse background in regards to his response, because he's the premier and he was responding to, like, no, this bill is a horrible bill. We have diversity and we should have human rights for that.
I see some diversity. I see 3 Sikh men, and that guy I'm not sure. There's a guy there behind the guy with the glasses between the two.
I believe he's Jewish. There's also
the guy behind EB might be Jewish. Who's the guy behind the Jewish guy?
Oh, the one. There's a gentleman to EB's right that might I believe is Jewish, and the one behind him, I'm not too sure his ethnicity. Exactly. There's also there's also a reverend, a woman reverend too.
That's right. So she's white, and the one underneath her is white, and the one behind her is white. And the one behind the guy that we don't know if he's white or not is white. And the one behind EB's shoulder on his left-hand shoulder is white. Yeah. Okay, so there, yes, you've got a couple of people, but still the majority in that picture is white. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, there is no issue with white
representation. People. Yeah. That is a common thing. Representation matters, and as it stands right now, people of Caucasian descent tend to not have too much problems in regards to representation.
No, they don't.
No, that we do not. So she is going to continue to be a horrible person out in BC, and that'll be for a while. You know what? Since this is kind of relevant, we're going to stick in BC too close to her riding, because why not? As our vaccines baby was actually pointing out, hey, this is actually close to the Ostrich Farm. Well, funny enough, there's some information about the Ostrich Farm, and we haven't really covered much about the Ostrich Farm because that was while we were off the air. And so the background regards to the Ostrich Farm, I think most of you guys know, there was an Ostrich Farm out in BC that was raising ostriches and decided to refuse to cull their ostriches when they were ordered by CFIA. A cull order that was requested immediately, and since they worked so hard to defy the CFIA from culling their birds, they caused a almost year-long ordeal that ended up costing a lot of money that's going to be charged to the farm.
Yes.
And a lot of time, as well as, and more importantly, and more significantly, a lot of risk to both the wildlife and to neighboring farms, both local and even further away, because there's migrating birds involved. So they caused a lot of danger. Now, the birds were finally culled, I believe, back in October. And since then, what have these guys been up to? Well, let me tell you.
It's a fluid situation, but I think they might need your involvement.
Well, you're number one important.
Yeah, TV, you're
Already?
Here at the Kelowna Event Center, NCI, I'll be volunteering over the next 3 days, including today. Here with Dave Polinsky, we're announcing the founding of Ostrich Vitality Inc., incorporated in British Columbia, and it exists to further ostrich products and happiness in BC. We are 50% partners. There are birds, and the future is bright.
And it's Vancouver Island based.
No fundraising monies were used.
It's all private capital.
Yep. And
Private
it's exciting.
capital.
The birds are all healthy.
Yeah.
And there might be a slow ride to Vancouver Island, but they like road trips, it turns out. We had a great move yesterday, and no injuries.
Yeah, no injuries, and we've got to get the ostrich industry going again. There's still lots to do with Universal and that part of things.
That's not related to this. Zero involvement with Universal with Ostrich Vitality.
No, this is a new venture, separate from what's happening with Universal.
However, they were raised by a Persian fellow by the name of Ayman, and ostrich are widely raised in Persia for food and feathers and leather and all that, and good to get some of his knowledge about that. And they're fun animals, and yeah, the future's bright. Anything else?
No, it's bright, yes, and the ostrich, when you do all the research on the ostrich, they are a phenomenal animal. I've been involved since 1993 after building quarantines in Zimbabwe and Namibia and the UK, and it's very, very interesting. There's still a lot happening.
I want to get,
and it's going to go forward.
Yeah, I see down on Vancouver Island there, we're going to get the ostrich chariots going for sure. It's going to be fun. Good way to get around the farm. Well, there you go. Ostrich Vitality Inc. is launched. Vancouver Island TV live on location. Having fun? Yeah, you are.
Feathers and leather and meat.
Yeah. So still looking to find out what the business plan is for Ostrich Vitality. We'll see if we can find some more info. It's not very, very much available. The thing in regards to Iran, because he was talking about Persia and how ostriches are very much related to Persia. Persia, which is now modern Iran and surrounding areas, hasn't really been a thing. So historic presence, the Arabian ostrich roamed prehistoric ranges, possibly ending the Western Iran, extended to Western Iran, but became extinct around the 1960s due to hunting and habitat loss. Surviving in relict populations near the Euphrates until then. No wild ostriches exist naturally today in Persia. Iran began commercial ostrich farming in 2008, importing birds from Africa for meat, leather, and eggs. 120,000 farmed ostriches, mainly in southern provinces of Hormozgan. Recent Saudi reintroductions of African subspecies are experimental, not established wild populations. So that's the short in regards to Persia and ostriches.
These guys are giving it around too. So he has private capital. Sounds to me like he has private capital.
So I'm going to change your statement to I say he's got access to private capital, because I don't think he's got it. I think this is why he's got this new partner, Al. Remember,
he's a con artist.
Oh, without saying it, yeah. Everything about this has been very much that. These guys went to the. If you watch the Ostrich Farm, the entire time, the whole thing just felt shady and shifty, and it was.
I didn't watch it the entire time. I was busy somewhere else, but you were telling me about it.
I did.
And I was like, what is happening? What are we even talking? It sounded so ridiculous.
It was ridiculous, and it was it was also one of these weird. It was kind of bizarre, and I'm like, all right, this is kind of weird. I'm not too interested. And then I started watching because then you start seeing convoys jumping into it, like, oh, we got to save the ostriches. I'm like, it's for Canada, for freedom. Like, what the hell are you talking about? These are fucking ostriches. They're not native. Like, it's not that you're saving the beavers or some sort of wildlife protection in
Bees,
Canada somewhere.
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
something
beavers,
important to
moose, whatever. These are fucking ostriches
wolves
coming from Africa.
for
And then it
food.
got removed from Africa, brought over here to be farm grown and then
To
processed.
be eaten, yes. And used for
Eaten,
leather. They-
leather, oils will be turned into and
She was
apparently
eating
omegas.
them. Karen was eating the ostriches.
Oh, yeah.
We have photo evidence.
Yeah, you can eat the ostriches, but they're also like there was a whole business plan from Universal Ostrich that showed like all the different parts that of the ostrich being used. Because again, if you're doing good farming, you're trying to use as much of the animal as possible. So it
It
went
was a
from pet foods to
universal
regular foods. Makeup was involved,
makeup.
and leather and everything else. Like they're like the thing made sense in regards to grow the bird, slaughter the bird, get it processed, get it out to the market.
Eat the eggs,
Except
whatever.
they weren't really doing all those parts, and they weren't really getting compensated that well. And even some complaints from satellite farms saying like, "Yeah, we did our part. We're just not getting our money." We're like, what's going on here? So, and this has been a constant story in regards to Dave, in regards to a lot of the business ventures he has. He's got a history of business ventures that have not always been successful. And unfortunately, he's taken money from other people. So, this particular venture here is a continuation of that. First thing I think is my first red alert is like they weren't great at taking care of the birds to begin with. CFIA cited a whole bunch of problems in the ways they were raising the birds, and I think as you already pointed out, which was true, like not addressing the issue of the bird flu that was going rampant is also suffering of the animals.
Right.
And so there, and as well as endangering other wildlife, for them to get farming animals again, not a great thing. And yeah, but they were pets and had feeling. Yeah, farm animals are not pets. Mochi is a pet.
Yeah.
Those who know Mochi, he's a tiny little brown dog who's right now chilling on the couch as he's discovering
Well,
post-vaccination and medication.
I think birds are intelligent and I think they have
Mhm.
their own societies and I think
Yep.
beings are sentient beings, but you have to decide and you can't keep changing your mind just so that for your own personal you know, financial gain. And that's what was happening because they were
Yes.
not pets. They were eating them. They were killing them. They were not giving a shit about them, letting them die in the field and rotting in front of their other bird colleagues, friends, whatever the hell you want to call them. The rest of the herd was walking around dead birds. These people did not care for them as pets. Do you think that I would, or any normal person would allow their pet to die and you just leave them there to just decompose, throw a tarp over it and move on with your life? Like, give me a fucking break. That was
Well,
disgusting.
I mean, there was that plus, so a big difference between farm animals and pets. I mean, I've got one dog. For those who know, Deana has a zoo at times.
I have a pride.
Yeah,
I have a
she's
pride
got
of
pride
cats.
right now, but she's got a fair selection of animals. Thank you, Magic Hand.
Oh, I only have cats. I had a dog.
Yes,
but
you had a
passed
dog,
away.
but you had a zoo in regards to just the volume.
Yeah.
But they all have names, right?
They all have names. They are literally my babies. And to think that one of them would die and I would just walk around it or just leave it in the yard, or even if it got, let's say it went out and got hit by a car, I'm just going to leave it in the road and just be okay with that. Like, give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I've seen you react to loss of animals.
Well, we just had Frankie. You guys saw I put out a post, and I had so much, and not only did I care for Frankie, it seemed like about 3,000 other people I don't even know were, you know, there he is, Frank. Come here, man. Anyway.
Absolutely. When it comes to our pets, we will definitely. But my point in regards to that is like you have all your animals named.
Yes.
I've got Mochi named.
Well, they're going to say they named their animals.
They did.
Yes.
But hang on. So half of them they had some names for them. Not all of them were named. In some cases, it looked like they lost track of who was what name. And also, quite a few of those ostriches were being named after some of the people living at the farm. And like, if you've had these birds for a long time,
how are they just getting?
Named, yeah. Why would they be named after people coincidentally that are just there now? Like one of them was Charlie Kirk. I'm like, well, was that the one shot by the drone? Because that would be fitting. But they were naming them like I think there was a Big Bear one or whatnot. But yeah, they were. I think one was named after Tom, who also died at the farm. So it wasn't just the birds.
2 people died at the farm.
I remember correctly, it was 3. 3 died, and I believe it was 2 on the farm and 1 outside the farm that was related to it. And that story is actually crazy.
I don't remember that one.
So the one that was off the farm had to do with a love triangle of a married couple where the wife stepped out with another guy that was at the farm.
Not Jeff.
No, not Jeff.
That was Jeff and Katie.
No, Jeff and Katie. Yeah, apparently it wasn't Jeff. That wasn't Jeff and Katie, and we'll get to that one too. Yeah, there was a lot. Like there's a whole reality show you could probably make, or some sort of Netflix special you can make out of this thing. No. Apparently, she stepped out on her husband, and then apparently he killed himself. And people say it might be attributed to that, or may not. Obviously, there was definitely something that was concerning with him, and it was absolutely it's pretty terrible. And she
I didn't hear about that.
Apparently, she stepped out, and that was, I guess, maybe the linchpin or part of the whole thing.
What did she have? You said it was a triangle. Who was the third person, with her or with him?
So, well, it wasn't quite a triangle because it was just her stepping out on her husband. So triangle was.
You said love triangle.
My misspoke.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't really a triangle. No, she just stepped out with. I don't really say anything except Big Bear. And that's it. But yeah, so it's there was allegations of that. But I mean the entire time the Ostrich Farm was running, there was that. There was allegations of excessive drug use and drinking, which is the same thing we heard of the STC convoy, which is also the same thing we heard of the convoy itself.
They were drunk. Yep. A lot. But we also saw that at the church when they were trying to take over St. Bridget's Church.
Yep.
In Ottawa.
Drug use not quite as visible, but we saw the alcohol. Yeah.
Well, we saw the drugs too.
I didn't see it myself. I don't recall seeing it.
Well, we saw the outcome of how they behaved.
Fair.
And they had their stupid live streams where they were all fucking.
Oh, those ones were very drunk. Yeah, they got very
drunk and high. They were smoking weed and shit like that. They were doing both.
I wasn't sure if the cocaine was involved. Weed.
I have no idea.
I'll be honest. I'm not so sure that they were smoking weed because I'm going to be honest. Weed will chill you the fuck out.
Not when you're drunk.
Because one of them was like, "You're not chill. You were not doing enough."
But doesn't mean every single one of them were smoking weed, but they were certainly smoking. And some weed doesn't totally chill you out. Some weed makes you hyper.
That's fair. But I figured I at least could cut a bit of the edge, but maybe not. But yeah, there was definitely some of those. So this seems to be at least contained to that. My concern is obviously that this farm hasn't learned really anything from its previous things. And what lessons they may learn might not be much more than just, yeah, we're going to be just a lot more cautious in regards to what we do. In regards to, oh, look, there might be bird flu again. Let's just hide it better this time. And that, to me, I feel is dangerous.
I just want to point out that Frankie is making cookies on the couch.
See? The
He's
pet
trying
that
to
is
get better.
named, and
Yes,
she did not name him just now.
I love him. He's doing so much better. Anyway,
Oh,
back
that's good
to
to see. That's good to see. Take a
Frankie.
moment here before we get to the next one, but yeah, because on Pet Stories, you obviously had a whole ordeal that you had to deal with in regards to Frankie. Mochi, we brought him in. I brought him in yesterday because he had a whole bunch of stuff that he had to go through. He has an ear infection.
Oh,
It kind of sucks, but nothing major. It's just mild. They tested it. They checked it. They cleaned his ear. Now he's on some antibiotics. I need to get some drops in there every 12 hours, which means I'll have to go drop some in his ear in a bit. And as well as some allergy medication. But the other thing we also got him on, because Deana might know this, but Mochi's a bit of a high-strung dog.
yeah, a little bit.
And I'm not talking like just like high strung like CN Tower to CN Tower kind of fucking tightrope. Like he is high strung. Like he is absolutely up there. So we actually have him on some mild sedative and medication now to see if we can bring him down to chill him out a bit. And this
How
is our
old is he?
first day. He is 6.
Oh,
6. 2019. He was born 2019.
so it's turning
yeah.
7. Wow.
Turning 7, yeah. So it'll be turning 7. So yeah, he's a little bit older dog. So as being constantly just high strung like that, the doorbell rings, he just loses it. I move into any direction, he just kind of loses it. So we're like, we need to see if we can kind of calm him down a bit. So it's gonna be some training that will go with it. But we also got him on this, medication. It's a trazodone, and it is an experience because it's as Magic Ann are about looking at him like it's like a different dog. Like she looked at me, it's like, yeah, he is really, really chill. It feels like you brought him to the vet and brought home a different dog right now. And I'm
Yeah.
not sure about this. He's really, really possibly too chill. So
It
there
might
be
be
some
once
modification.
you do the training with it, but and maybe it's a little bit too high of a dosage. If that's the case, you might want to talk to your vet. But I had to put Benny on trazodone when he was after his surgery because you have to make sure that they're calm, right? And they have to not
Lose their shit.
overextend them. Yeah, overexertion. So yeah,
It makes total sense. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, he if he ever had some serious surgery when that, we'd need to have something on him because
yeah. Well, they'll
doorbell rings.
They'll prescribe it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's definitely a different dog right now that we're experiencing, and we're not used to the fact that he's just not losing it all the time, which is interesting.
Maybe he'll get used to not losing it, and then even he'll probably like it better. Maybe. We had to put one of my cats on an antidepressant a long time ago. Not these cats. My mom's cat, actually. His name was Sid. And just for 2 weeks, and then that was it. His behaviors just completely stopped because he was stressed out, depressed, whatever, and he was spraying everywhere, and it was just very what is happening? Took him to the vet, and they're like, oh, we'll just put him on these special antidepressants for 2 weeks, and then that was it. We never had a problem again. It's interesting. So
I'll take a look and see.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got him on there right now. He seems to be calming down. It's, I guess, like I said, it's a little weird. We need to get used to it, but Maxine's baby saying her dog is on Prozac. He's a lot more mellow, but still a little feisty. Yeah. Again, we want to definitely take because there's a sort of an upper edge with him where he freaks out to the point where he might almost pee. Like sometimes he's peed himself a little bit, kind of.
Yeah.
He gets too crazy. So we're trying to get him out of that too stress zone kind of thing. Dash hounds, very nice. All right, to the next story. Now we move to Montreal. Dozens of Montreal school staff already fired or resigned over expanded religious symbols ban. So, as some of you may recall, Quebec has a religious symbols ban in regards to government positions. This was not put into place for the schools. They've now expanded it to include schools, and because of this is now causing obviously has a large effect on the existing staff. Dozens of Montreal school staff have either been fired, suspended, or decided to resign following Quebec's new law expanding the ban on religious symbols in schools. According to Montreal Association of School Principals, hundreds of other school employees stand to lose their jobs. Quebec government passed a bill in October 2025 extending the province's ban on religious symbols from just teachers and principals to everyone who interacts with students in schools. Quebec included an exemption for employees who were already working in the school service centers, but that protection retroactively ended to when the bill was tabled. As a result, employees who changed position or who were hired between March 19th and the day of the bill was tabled, March 19th, the day of the bill was tabled, on October 30th, 2025, the day the bill was adopted, are not eligible for exemption. They decided not to respect the law, Drainville. In Quebec City, Bernard Drainville, the Coalition Avenir Quebec, CAQ, leadership candidate who tabled the legislation while Education Minister said employees impacted by the law could have removed their religious symbols during work hours but chose not to. They decided not to respect the law, and therefore it's their decision, and unfortunately they have to bear the consequences of their own personal choice. Drainville told reporters on Thursday. At the CSS in Mélile, 8 people were reportedly fired, and 4 others resigned because they refused to remove their religious symbols. At CSS de Laval, about 40 employees are on authorized unpaid leave, and 5 people have resigned. About 20 of them are workers who were already employed by the CSS before March 19, 2025, but had since changed positions. Yes, if you change positions, that resets your date and causes you to get affected. It is.
It's the same employer.
It is the same employer. So this is, so now to give you a rough listing of what the religious symbols are, they are, it could be a kippah, the Jewish hat. It could be a hijab. It could be
a cross.
It could be a cross. And actually, hang on, I'll check on that one.
I'm pretty sure that's included.
It could be a turban. It could be a any of the Sikh symbols. Now, in some religions, you can hide that symbol, like a little cross, put in your shirt, and it's not really required in Christian religion. In some of the other religions, it is required. Hijab is required if it's if it is.
Hijab is not required, but it's your declaration. A hijab is something that shows your commitment to God. Doesn't mean that you're not committed to God if you don't wear one, but it's sort of a way to present your dedication to. So it's not written in the Quran that you have to wear a hijab, which is why I don't wear a hijab. It says it in some hadiths. That's fine. They can say it in their hadiths. I don't follow the hadiths. I follow the Quran. It talks about modesty. I personally think modesty is not walking around dripping in gold and diamonds and those sort of things while there are people that are starving. I wear simple jewelry, whatever. That to me is what modesty is, but that's my interpretation and that's my relationship with God. But still, people should not be telling people how they should wear or what they should wear, like they're to cover their hair or whatever. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So just to go through the clarification. So you're correct. The Christian cross was included there. There was some there was a bit of back and forth in regards to religious cross when they were talking about this and whether or not they'd be permitted. And at some points, it was permitted the Christian cross and not the others, which really brought up a lot of questions, guys, to what this is.
What this
But the
really is
examples that I
about.
have here.
Well, Quebec is Islamophobic. There's no doubt about it. So
Yeah, there is. So in there's the hijab and other Islamic head coverings, because
because men also can wear.
there's
Yeah.
many head coverings. Hijab is just one of the multitudes. I think it's like 10 or 12 is last I saw, at least, if not more. Sikh kipan or turban, which is usually the head coverings. Turban's the traditional one. Kipan, I believe, is a smaller one that's
It's
sometimes see them wear.
it's almost like a skull cap and the bun. Yeah.
Exactly. It's they tend to use those for when they need sort of more mobility, like sports is common. Jewish kippah or Star of David, and then for Christian it'd be the cross or crucifix. So I have lots of feelings, especially since as a person from Quebec, born in Quebec, and also quite an outspoken atheist, not religious. I get the desire for secularism, and I actually agree with the idea of secularism in schools. But secularism in schools for me is in regards to education. Don't teach religion unless you're teaching all the religions.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have class on religion in a public school, it's going to be a class on religions.
Yeah.
I'm okay you teach Christianity if it's also with Judaism, Islam, as well as Buddhism and all the other world religions.
Right.
That is a good class. If anything, that's going to be a nice inclusive class. It's going to help educate and have people understand what those things. And I think that would be a fantastic class to have in there. I don't agree with the idea of teaching a specific religion in the class because that starts to lead to indoctrination, and I don't agree with that. Do I believe that people should not be wearing religious items for themselves because it's part of the religion? Fuck no. I don't follow religion. That's my right. Deana follows religion. That's her right.
Yeah.
If she was to choose to wear a hijab, what does that change in me? That is her choice. And I will fight for her right to wear that because it is her choice. I won't agree with anybody trying to push a religion on me. I will fight for somebody to be able to have their religion, be able to practice a religion the way they see fit, as long as it doesn't interfere with other people. That's it. It's a reasonable line. And there's no reason for this bill. This bill solves no problem. There was no problem.
Yeah, there was no problem to solve. I guess that's the issue, except for their racism problem.
This is trying to appeal to a dog whistle, and you're not wrong. There is a racism problem within Quebec. It's been there for a while, and this is to appeal for that dog whistle. And it's a great point as you brought up because it does bring me up to my other thing, which is this bill was brought up by the CAC, the CAC.
Mm-hmm.
As some people know, the CAC was their leader recently resigned and won't be running for re-election. And the election for the CAC is going to be in October 2026. Now, to understand how they're performing, I need to show you guys this, and I will explain this chart. This is the 338 seat projection, and now this comes relevant because we're 6 months away. We right now see the PQ, Parti Québécois, is right now in the lead at 63 in regards to seat projections. Liberals are at 45. The CAC is looking to get between 0 and 3 seats. The party majority right now is looking at 0 and 3 seats. They are trying desperately to get any seats. They are doing so poorly. And passing bills like this to a lot of Quebecers is showing that this stuff isn't registering with us because the stuff that you did do is hurting us. The pushback in regards to our healthcare, the limitations, the fact we can't find doctors, the fact we can't do anything, and all the pullbacks because of austerity has done this. This is why you got to push right now for the the Progressive Party, which is, believe it or not, Parti Québécois. They're very socialist, very progressive, just kind of separatist too. And the Liberals, which in Quebec are very conservative, believe it or not. And so CAC sort of, while they were very much on the whole fiscal thing, decided to double down on the idea of let's go with a little of this, as opposed to the bigoted stuff, they decided to go with the racist stuff in regards to secularism and calling it secularism. And I think it's going to be something that people outside Quebec want to keep an eye on, because this is something that we're not seeing in the other areas. But depending on how this kind of works and spins, you might see other areas trying to say, like, well, we're just trying to be secular, and therefore we're going to try to remove this. This is not going to be common because a lot of the other places are spouting Christian. So this is going to work against them. But they might try to find something in this to try to spin towards them. Thoughts?
I think we covered it. I just think that, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work for them. And they're obviously losing support. So,
I think
and they're losing a lot of good educators because of this. So,
I think if it was a boy band, I'd be saying, bye, bye, bye.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. Why is it all the time?
Is this the last thing that we're talking about? This one?
There's one more.
Okay, let's do it because we're at 10:02, and I also want to share that post that I sent to you.
Absolutely. The next one is a pretty quick one here, and that's an update in regards to one last court thing. You know what? We always come back to court. So, Alberta Court of Appeal upholds 4-month jail term for organizer of Coutts blockade. So now this is not the Coutts 3 or 4. This is just the Coutts blockade itself.
Yeah.
Now, this person had a 4-month jail term for their involvement in organizing it. Alberta's top court dismissed the appeal of one of the organizers of the 2022 border blockade of Coutts, Alberta, arguing his 4-month jail term was fair. Marco Van Hugebos was sentenced to 120 days in jail in January 2025 of mischief for over $5,000 for his role in the blockade, which tied up cross-border traffic with the United States for 2 weeks to protest COVID-19 pandemic rules and vaccine mandates. He was described during his trial as one of the ringleaders of the blockade and negotiated with the RCMP on behalf of protesters. During sentencing, Court of
King's Bench.
Court of King's Bench Justice Keith Yamuchi said the illegal blockade affected the lives of many Canadians, and the sentence had to make it clear that the majority of Canadians denounced their actions. In its decision, the Alberta Court of Appeal said many of the cases referenced by Van Hugenbos involved guilty pleas and protests of a much shorter duration. The appellate sentence is not demonstrably unfit for a sentence following a trial, and by reference to the facts found by the sentencing judge, including that the blockade was an attack on the rule of law, the nature and length of the blockade, and the impact of the blockade on other citizens and the appellant's leadership role. Acting Chief Justice Don Penelchuk wrote on behalf of the appeal court in a decision released Monday. I know you probably watched this quite a bit. What did you think?
Well, I think one of the things that I will say that I learned through my time stuck in the court system is that I was told there is a saying that all cases go to die in the appellate court, in the appeals court. So it needs to go higher up. I'm not giving this guy advice. I'm just saying that this is the majority of appeals don't make it through in appeal court. And so if there is an argument to be made, it needs to go higher to the Supreme Court. So I don't know. I think these people were idiots, and I think that they were. I don't agree with their message, what they were fighting for, and does it make what they did illegal? I'm not sure that's the part that's illegal. It was their method. I don't know. I don't know much about what he did in particular. I don't know much about his case. He's a ringleader. I have no idea.
He was the leader of, he was the leader of the Coos blockade, or one of the leaders for the Coos blockade. So it is interesting in regards to, and this is where I think is because he's gotten more jail time than Barber and Litch, in a sense.
Yeah.
Or Pat King. Because Pat King's never, he got sentencing, but his end result sentence was like a year's of, it was a year conditional sentence.
Yeah.
Minus 9 months of time served. And so all these guys are getting less. And the reason why I want to point this out is people were more probably annoyed in general with that protest in Ottawa as a general sense, because they saw that one as the bigger one and more visible. But business and economy was more affected by Coots and Windsor.
Yeah.
And the fact that they the ones that are organizing those may get more jail sentence and time served kind of speaks in regards to the legal system as to what it protects.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of money was lost in Ottawa, which is why there's a $300 million lawsuit. But it wasn't. Yeah, I can't remember. It was a lot of money for Windsor because of the car.
It was millions
the vehicle.
Day.
Yeah.
It was millions a day.
Millions
for
a
Windsor.
day. Yeah.
Yeah. The scale was different between the two. Like Ottawa, there was you're not wrong. Some businesses lost a fair amount of money because
people almost died in the one in Coots too. Like there was the guy that was having a diabetic attack and they weren't letting him through. Like that was stupid. Why are you trying to kill your people? Like that doesn't make any sense. If this guy is legitimately has a medical concern and you say that you care about people and the vaccine kills people, but you're ready to let this guy die because you're not letting him get the stuff that he needs. Like that was just fucking, that whole thing was stupid. And then I did remember listening a little bit to their radio. Remember they were on their CB radios or whatever? Zello. That's what it was.
For those who want to feel nostalgic, Coots is Zello, or just the convoy Zello.
Yeah. Yeah. That was so stupid. So, I mean, that itself, I think, deserves jail time. You put people's lives in jeopardy. But whatever. I don't know. Again, I don't know a whole lot about his, but it's a womp womp. I mean, if he really believes in his case, then he'll take it up to the Supreme Court if he can afford to do that. I'm not saying that's the only way because people can't necessarily afford to go to the Supreme Court, but
no, I agree.
Whatever. Okay, I sent you a message that needs to be put up. So I just want to preface this, you guys. This is really important, and I think it's important that everybody knows. Now, it was posted on my other account, but let me find it on this account at Kersner. There it is. No. There it is. Okay. So, yeah, I posted Al-Quds Day is an important day that was actually the Ayatollah Khomeini is the one who introduced Al-Quds Day to try to get people once a year to be engaged politically. Okay, this was a way to try to inspire them to be engaged politically. And one of the reasons is because of what's happening in Palestine. Now, this Al-Quds Day march rally that is going to happen in Toronto is now specific to the Lebanese and Iranian murders, the illegal war. They want it to stop. The Al-Quds Committee is focusing on Lebanon and Iran. And as you guys know, there has been some uptick in some alleged anti Semitic attacks, surprisingly only concentrated on one area in Canada. And it's this little place in Toronto. And it happens to be in the same area where Al-Quds Day is going to happen. And it just magically turned up just this past week, these anti Semitic attacks on these synagogues. And at the US consulate, which is where the Al-Quds March is going to happen. If you can see where this is going. One of the attacks on one of the synagogues is interesting because this synagogue received a $75,000 grant from the government to increase security of their property for fear of a previous anti-Semitic attacks and whatever. So $25,000 of this $75,000 for this one synagogue was put in to as security cameras. And I know a lot about security cameras because I'm a property manager and we installed security cameras in every single one of our properties because we've had people either breaking into laundry rooms, stealing coins, which we don't use anymore, but we did at the time, people breaking in to sleep in vestibules, whatever, just to increase the safety. And $25,000 for one property is a lot of money for security cameras. I have a 5-story building. We have 2 stairwells, a camera on every level of every stairwell, a camera in every garbage chute room, 2 cameras in the garbage room, the main garbage room, 2 cameras in the parking lot, a camera in the vestibule when you first come in, a camera on the hallway when you first come in. So 1 in the vestibule, 1 when you first come in. Cameras everywhere. Okay. $12,000. And this is back in 2016, roughly 2017, when these were installed. $12,000. And these cameras are cloud-based and they will record for 2 months before it overrides, record for 24/7 before it overrides 60 days later. There's never a need to turn off your security cameras, ever. But somehow
that would defeat the purpose.
it would defeat the purpose, but somehow there seems to be a rumor that I caught online that they have no camera footage, even though they have $25,000 worth of security cameras, and something along the lines of they turned them off before the night. They left that night. And then there's all these reports, conflicting reports. The police chief said that there was nobody in the synagogue when the shooting happened at night. It was an empty building, thankfully. But all of a sudden, news media is reporting all these different stories. There were some people that were inside. The rabbi was inside. The rabbi and her daughter was inside. There were people outside, nobody inside. They can't seem to get their story straight. But anyways, these all came up just conveniently because Al-Quds March is happening. And since Al-Quds March has been happening in Toronto, the Zionists have been trying to have it canceled every single year. Now, these anti-Semitic attacks, I said, are extremely timely and coincidental. And all of a sudden, this MPP, Michael Kersner, puts out a statement. And soon after my account, after I called it out, soon after my account was suspended. We'll see how that goes. Probably by tomorrow, I should have it back. because I am the authentic user, which is weird that they use that. But he says, I want to address with complete clarity the vile and despicable Al-Quds Day rally planned for March 14th. That's this Saturday, by the way, at University Avenue in Toronto. Please be there. But anyways, he's saying, planned for March 14th. The event is synonymous with anti-Semitism. How? The glorification of terrorist organization and calls for the destruction of the state of Israel. These displays of hatred are unacceptable. The spread of fear target Jewish communities and undermine the values of respect, tolerance, and safety that define our province. Like, can we say projection, anyone? As Solicitor General and as a proud member of Ontario's Jewish community, I will never stay silent in the face of anti-Semitism. This guy is our fucking Solicitor General. Any display of anti-Semitism, intimidation, or glorification of terrorist groups or their violence is unacceptable and will not be tolerated in Ontario. We will look to our policing partners to ensure our province is safe and free from harassment. Those who cross the line and engage in acts of hate, promote extremist ideologies, or incite violence will be held accountable and brought to justice to the fullest extent. Every fucking protest has been peaceful, and there has never been any issues of any of these pieces of shit idiotic things he's bringing up right now. Every Ontarian has the right to live safely, openly, and without fear. Why are you instilling fear in Ontarians then with this fucking bullshit? Anyway, our government will continue to stand firmly with the Jewish community and against anti-Semitism, and wherever and whenever it appears. Now, this guy made sure to tag all of the Zionist lobby groups who have infiltrated our government and our institutions. So he's made it quite easy for us to know who these people are, which I will be retweeting. Actually, I put it at the bottom of my tweet. I made sure to tag them. So now this is the response from I was hoping to put it on my other account, and tomorrow when I get my account back, hopefully, I'll be able to retweet it. But it's important that you guys find this, Deana Sharif, at Deana Sharif, and please share it. So the Al-Quds committee.
I placed the URL to the tweet into the chat.
The Al-Quds committee shared a message that they wanted to make sure was put out there, and I hope you guys can share it. So it's Globalize the Intifada. Dear brothers, sisters, and comrades, this Saturday, March 14th, 2026 at 3 p.m., tens of thousands of us will take to the street to scream no to the genocidal Canadian, United States, and Israeli governments who have ethnically cleansed and murdered hundreds and thousands of our people in the Middle East. This is very true, all true. This deranged mafia have set the world on fire to line their pockets in the cause of the greater Israel. We refuse to stay silent in the face of genocide. We call on all Canadians to demonstrate on Saturday so we can build a world free of all forms of oppression. Can you scroll down, please? I can get mine, but you have it on the screen. Benjamin Netanyahu, Donald Trump, Mark Carney, Doug Ford, we know what you stand for. Climate change, poverty, hatred, and genocide. On Saturday, we draw the line in the sand. We demand United States and Israel out of Palestine. United States and Israel out of Lebanon. United States and Israel out of Iran. To the Solicitor General of Ontario, we say the following: we will not be moved. To the 99%, we say we have a world to win. The Al-Quds Committee, Toronto. Now, how is any of that anti-Semitic? How is wanting these rogue, genocidal, fucking warmongering piece of shit, illegal war crime countries to stop bombing innocent Palestinians, Lebanese, Iranians? How is that anti-Semitic? How do you equate that with anti-Semitism? So the people that were tagged by Michael Kesner these are the Zionist entities, the lobby groups who have infiltrated our institutions and our government. Is UJA Federation, CJA Ontario. Go back down, please. Can I see the bottom, please?
Sure.
These are the tags. B'nai B'rith Canada. I'm missing one. Oh, Canadian FSWC. Israel in Toronto. Now, why the fuck is Israel in Toronto? Can somebody tell me that? Why is there Israel in Toronto? And then I went ahead and tagged a few other of the members of parliament and our prime minister, who shares his unwavering support for the United States and Israel as they illegally bomb civilians and killed over 170 schoolgirls in a double tap operation at the first day when they killed Ayatollah Khamenei in an act of war and aggression, when there was already not peace talks, but negotiations agreed to for this nuclear plan. Now Trump is walking it back, saying that he thought Iran was going to strike because Jared Kushner, Marco Rubio, and the other fucking dimwit, J.D. Vance, told him that was going to happen. So now he's trying to walk it back.
No, they didn't tell him shit. Let's be honest here.
No,
Yeah.
I know, but he's saying that it's because of them and Netanyahu. Sorry, it wasn't Vance. It was Netanyahu, Kushner, and Marco Rubio told him that Iran was going to strike first, so he needed to strike. Like
Netanyahu, the same guy who's been saying to the U.S. and everybody else that Iran is going to strike the U.S. for what, 30 fucking years now?
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You can't pass the buck. You're the fucking chief. You're the guy in charge. You don't get to pass the buck. It doesn't fucking matter. But anyways, how is any of this related to anti-Semitism? I am so fucking sick and tired of these people trying to. They just passed Bill C-9, everybody. That fucking ridiculous anti-hate bill that was pushed through by B'nai B'rith Canada and CJA and UJA and the rest of these fucking lobbyists who wanted this to be pushed through. This is ridiculous. We need to take back our country from these Zionist lobby groups. They are just as bad as AIPAC in the United States. We need to get a grip. Like, they are losing the information war, but they still somehow have a stronghold on our politicians and our institutions, our police, all of these things. Like, we are not stupid. You don't turn off security cameras if you are at risk of anti-Semitic attacks. There is absolutely no reason why you would turn off security cameras, $25,000 worth of security. The other $50,000 of that $75,000, who fucking knows what that was about? Like, where did that go?
You don't turn off your cameras at night. The security cameras run 24/7. Period. There's no denying. My doorbell doesn't turn off at fucking night.
Right. And if you and your daughter are alone in a synagogue when you're worried about anti-Semitic attacks, you're going to turn off the fucking camera? Get fucking real. Get real. Get real.
Yep.
Like, all of it. Just fuck right off. I'm so tired of this Zionist mindfuck bullshit that is nonstop.
I agree.
Anyway, rant over. So please, if you're in Toronto or you're near Toronto, please go to this protest. We need everybody out there. They cannot rule the day. We need to be the ones who are out there. We do not want our people to be sent over there to fight. We do not want our weapons to be sent over to kill these people. We do not want our prime minister to be enabling these psychos to keep like condemning Iran? How dare you condemn Iran at this point? Like, for real? And say nothing about Gaza being totally pummeled right now as we fucking speak still? Refugee tents being set on fire? The West Bank? Like the aggression in the West Bank? The aggression in Lebanon right now? What did Lebanon do? Why are you going after Lebanon? Because they're trying to build the Greater Israel Project. And Mark Carney has the fucking nerve to condemn the only thing that is even setting any type of resistance, real resistance against this genocidal, maniacal fucking craziness. Fuck off. All of it.
And even if we take out all the other ones, and again, I'm not taking any of the other shit that's going on. The fact that we criticize Iran after Israel and the United States sucker punched them, it's like, oh, it was a preemptive strike, and therefore it's
and you say nothing about it.
And any response is that's the crime. I'm like, really? You sucker punch somebody and they punch back, and that's the problem? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like I'm taking freaking Zoolander, and freaking at the end they're like, am I taking fucking crazy pills here?
This is how they are. Literally. I went to jail for this. I went to jail because two fucking aggressors came into our protest and I became the problem. It was me, because I stood up to them because they were coming after our people. And I was the one who was charged. Listen, this is the fucking game every goddamn day. Every fucking goddamn day.
This is why we also say cameras are so important out in public.
Yeah. And cameras are important, except for when people hold back your fucking evidence too. Okay? Fuck. The truth comes out. We learned the truth about what happened. They tried to lie and say that it was Iran that bombed their own fucking children in a double tap. Now we know 100% that it was the United States. Okay? And still, now that we know who the culprits are, Iran's still the guilty one. Fuck the fuck off. All of it. I'm over it.
Agreed.
We got to fight back. We need all of us need to stand up to this bullshit. And you're not going there to being there isn't you supporting the Ayatollah or the regime. That's not what this means. You can be anti-aggression and pro-law, international law, without being in favor of the Iranian regime. Do not let them conflate those things together. You can be pro-international law and not be an anti-Semite. Do not let them conflate those two things together. Fuck them. We need to be loud. We need to be out there. We need to have the numbers. And do not let them set this narrative. It's bullshit. Anyway, we're over time.
We are over time by a little bit. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll be here again next week, hopefully. I say that because we were supposed to be here last week, but unfortunately emergencies that were occur. So
now
but
he's playing with his
news,
brother. You guys could see him running around back there. They're running after each
exactly. We have great news. Frankie's doing great right now. But we'll be back next week. Until then, we have one final clip as we say goodbye. So
goodbye, everybody.
Good night and have fun.
What?
You know, your daughter, she has to be of age, like above 6 years old.